Hey, everybody. This is Mike Messier, and I am with my good friend Karl Cotty. Hey, Karl, how's it going, buddy?
Good.
Good, man. Did I say your last name right today, Karl?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And this is Mike and Karl taking on the movies, Mike's movie manifesto, so to speak. Karl, I think this was your idea for the show, man. So, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about the worst movies we've ever seen. And so, I want to thank you for having the idea and for other subscribers to Mike Messier YouTube channel. First of all, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. But I'm always open for great ideas like Karl's. So, Karl, I'm going to shut up for a minute and let you start. We're going to tackle the worst movies we've seen, and I want to let you get started. Karl, tell us about some of the worst movies that you've seen personally.
Um, yeah, number 10, it's called Colin. It's a British zombie horror movie. I think it came out in 2008. It was awful.
And what about that movie was really bad? Like, was it how bad, or just where did you see it? Did you see it at home? Did you go to a theater and see it? How'd you see this thing?
I think I actually saw it at home.
Nice. And it just was really bad. All right. And what it's called Calling? Was that it?
Colin.
Okay, cool. And all right, still there, buddy? I got you frozen up here, Karl. You still with me, Karl?
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. Just picture froze for but okay. Why don't you go on to your second pick?
Second pick is Samurai Cop.
I think I've heard of that. What?
Yeah,
Who was in Samurai? Who was the Samurai cop?
man. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you should watch it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. Was it an attempt to be like a martial arts comedy?
Yeah. That's one.
It just sounds horrible. Samurai Cop number two. Okay, or number nine, I guess, on your list.
Yeah.
What's your next pick, Karl?
Halloween season of the witch.
Now that's interesting you say that because I actually like that movie, and but it was disappointing from the aspect that it didn't follow the Michael Myers storyline or trajectory of the films, the Halloween one and two. It was this weird story about a masks company that's making these three types of masks to kill all the kids in the neighborhood or the state. I kind of like the movie, but I know what you mean. It doesn't fit in with the other ones. Why do you not like the Season of the Witch Halloween movie?
I don't know. I don't know. It was. I mean, it was all right, but I don't know. It didn't follow up to the other Halloween movies. That's why.
Yeah, I can see that, buddy. I
Yeah.
can feel you on that. All right, buddy. What's your next pick?
Green Lantern.
I don't think I've seen it. Who was it? Ryan Reynolds or who?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so he's done a couple of superhero movies because he also did another one that I didn't see. But what about the Green Lantern? Didn't satisfy you?
I don't know. Um. Yeah, Reynolds wasn't the right choice for the role. Yeah, it was great in 3D though.
Yeah. What was the other Deadpool he did? Right? Was that
Yeah.
still right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, would you say that Deadpool is better than the Green Lantern film? Was it?
Oh yeah, 10 times better. I'm like,
It's interesting that um, the same actor can be involved in a winner and a loser franchise. I guess. Did they ever
yeah.
make a sequel to that Green Lantern movie, Karl, or no?
No. I'm like,
All right. What's your next choice, buddy?
Against the Dark.
That sounds like a horror movie, but I could be wrong. Tell me about that one because I can't say that I've seen it.
Oh. I was gonna tell Steven Seagal was actually in it.
Oh
He,
wow,
he was in, yeah, like he was only he was only in for like 15 minutes for like the home. I'm like I'm
man.
like I I tell you, I think action stars should stay away from horror milk.
Yeah, action actors should stay away from horror movies. You know, sometimes what it is that a guy like Seagal, if they just paid him the right amount of money, I'm assuming it was kind of a low budget movie. Um, Maybe not totally low budget, but mid budget, and maybe they just wanted to give Seagal a payday and get him in there for a few days and get his 15 minutes, and that was it. You know? All right, buddy, what's your next pick, man?
Zombie Cop.
That sounds pretty bad too. So we had a samurai cop and we had a zombie cop. So I'm seeing a trend here of just anytime you get a movie that you just put a cop in it. What was, I mean, what else do you remember about Zombie Cop? It sounds pretty bad.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, when I first saw the trailer for it, oh yeah, it looked terrible.
I like these picks. I just dug it up. It's 1991. The director is J.R. Bookwalter. It came out back in 91. Uh, During the drug raid, a narcotics officer confronts. I'm reading the summary here, and it just went away from me. But a narcotics officer confronts a strange voodoo priest named Dr. Death, who is chanting. The officer and the priest shoot it out, and they both wind up dead. Later, the two rise from their graves and return to the land of the living as zombies. Dr. Death is resurrected with a new mission in mind to take over the world. The zombie cop enlists the aid of his old police buddies to stop the mad priest. Yeah, that sounds pretty bad, buddy.
Yeah.
Um, what's your next pick, Carl?
Zombie.
What was it? Was another zombie movie? What was it called, buddy?
Wait,
Zombie like? Oh,
wait.
Lake. Oh, Zombie Lake. Okay, I haven't heard of that one either. What's that one about?
Oh, it's just subtitle.
I want to look it
Yeah,
up real quick. I'm on IMDb.
sure.
And I'm gonna. It looks like another. It looks like a 1981 movie, if it's the same one. And in a small village somewhere in France, German soldiers killed and thrown into the lake by the resistance during World War II come back. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Oh boy, it sounds like it was trying to play off the popularity of the Toxic Avenger, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe the Toxic Avenger um, came out later. Um, what's your next movie, buddy? Your next bad one?
Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't see that one. I know that Ben Affleck was in that, and who, the guy that played Superman had played Superman a couple of years earlier, right?
Yes, it was. I mean, he was great.
What about this movie? Because I've heard different things about Superman versus Batman. What about it didn't appeal to you?
I just yeah, I didn't. I was not a huge Ben Affleck fan.
Yeah. Um, what's your next one, buddy?
Vampires versus zombies.
Sounds you get a lot of bad zombie movies. Carl, I got to ask you something. Do you like good zombie movies? Like, is there zombie movies that you think are good,
Yeah.
but just this one's not a good one?
Oh yeah.
What else you got, buddy? What's next on your bad list?
All right. Oh, RoboCop, the remake.
Oh, the remake. Okay, okay. I'm glad you said the remake. It's funny, man. I even forgot they even remade RoboCop. God, I can't even. I didn't even remember that. Uh, who was in the remake of 2014? Joel Kinnaman and Gary Oldman. It's funny. I barely remember this thing coming out. Yeah. I mean, why would they? Why would they want to remake something like that? Interesting. I'm looking at the IMDb page of RoboCop from 2014. I mean, it's got some good actors in it. It's just Samuel L. Jackson's in there. He's getting his golf money for the week. All right, what else you got there, buddy?
All right, bonus round. Navy SEALs versus zombies.
Oh man, jeez, you're the expert on bad zombie movies, man. Oh my God, that sounds. But now let me ask you something. As a kind of a connoisseur, would you call yourself an expert horror film fan, Karl?
Yeah.
What do you think? Because this is kind of like I had some friends in New England. My friend Tommy Broadbent, great guy, but he would always like to watch these movies that were almost bad on purpose. Is that do you know what I'm talking about? Like people that kind of like watching movies late at night that are like
Yeah.
purposely bad.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I can see the appeal to that, but I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. Navy SEALs versus zombies. It does look pretty bad. What's your? You have any more, Karl? What's your next one? What's your next bad movie, Karl?
Yeah, I haven't got one yet.
Oh,
What
that's
about
okay,
you?
man. No, I've got my list. I thought I'd let you go first.
Sure.
I'm gonna do some movies. The way that I approached this list was kind of like movies that I can remember seeing that I personally didn't enjoy. So they may not be like, for instance, a long time ago, people would say a bad movie. They'd say a movie called Ishtar, which was a Dustin Hoffman movie, and it had Warren Beatty, Dustin Hoffman, and Warren Beatty, and it was really just a huge disappointment. But when I finally saw the thing myself on cable TV, I didn't really hate it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with movies that when I went to see them, I'd almost subtext this like Mike's disappointing movie list. And when I say that, I'm going to start with Highlander 2. And I will make the caveat that Highlander 2 is a lot better when they did this VHS Renegade cut a couple of years later, which was a heck of a lot better. But the original release of Highlander 2, when I went to see it in a movie theater, Highlander 2 The Quickening, it really kind of dropped the ball. Michael Ironside was trying his best as the bad guy. You still had Sean Connery. You still had Christopher Lambert, but it was really a disappointment coming off the first Highlander. And but I will give them credit, the filmmakers, when they did anyone who saw Highlander 2 knows what I'm talking about. Zeist is this planet, and it's almost like the movie's so bad that it threatens to ruin the goodness of the first one. Did you ever see Highlander or Highlander 2, Karl?
Oh, I seen like there's actually 5 now.
Yeah. But how do you feel that Highlander 2 did with the legacy of the films? Like, how do you think that one fit in, or did it not?
It was, I mean, it was good, but yeah, like I said, sometimes if they do like a director's cut, it'll make it a lot better.
Yeah, they did something called the Renegade cut, which actually did pretty well, but it was only like on a VHS tape that I saw it. The next one, um, I want to tell a kind of a funny story, and I'll give credit to my dad. My dad took me to 3 really bad movies over the years, so I want to give a shout out to my father there, because the first bad movie I can remember my dad taking me to, it was either on his birthday or my birthday. I can't remember which. It might have been mine, but it was called The Policeman's Other Ball. And I'm telling you, not many people would even know about this movie. It was a documentary, kind of a concert footage of like an Irish policeman's ball that was like a variety show in Ireland, and so they all had Irish accents, and I couldn't, or maybe it was English. It was a really bad experience because I couldn't even understand. I guess I was a pretty young kid when I saw this thing, and it was just a god awful experience. I just looked it up. It's actually uh, called The Secret Policeman's Other Ball, and it was just a bad experience. And my dad wanted to see it, so we went and saw it, but it was not good for me. It's actually on YouTube if anyone's going to challenge themselves to sit through this thing. Maybe I'll sit through it just to see if I missed something the first time. Um, I'm sure it was actually British, not Irish. My apologies to both countries. Did you ever see any of those type of movies, Carl?
No.
Yeah, you didn't miss out on anything. The next one I say was also a dad and Mike experience was The Godfather 3. Now, The Godfather 3 is known for not being as good as the first two Godfathers, but the really weird thing with this was that I think once again my dad took me on another one of my birthdays to see The Godfather 3. I hadn't seen the first two yet. So my dad took me to see the sequel, the third installment of a series that I hadn't seen the first two yet. And for whatever reason, we didn't do the homework of getting me to watch one and two before we saw three. And I was really turned off to the whole Godfather thing because most people would say that The Godfather 3 was really the weakest of the three movies. But if you like the first two, you might actually like the third one. Um, but I just was thrown into this thing on the wrong side of the pool and just didn't know how to swim. Eventually, I got around to seeing Godfather 1 and 2, and I love those movies now. But that's my story. What do you think of the Godfather movies, Carl?
Real good. Real good movies. It's worth watching.
Do you have a favorite between 1 and 2, or even 3? If 3 is your favorite
Yeah.
of the Godfather
Actually,
films?
yeah, I actually like the movie.
All right. My next pick, buddy, is Porky's 2. Porky's 2. I guess I'm kind of segueing to sequels here. Porky's 2 is just a bad film. The first one is bad, but it's fun. The second one is bad, and it's not even fun. Did you ever see the Porky's films, Carl?
Oh no, no.
Yeah, you're not missing much. I want to give the trilogy, my father's trilogy of bad movies. The third one, and my dad took me to see a lot of good movies, folks. Trust me. But the third one that I can remember, it wasn't even that long ago. My dad wanted to see a movie. He and I hadn't seen a movie together in a long time. So he asked me what was playing. I went through the movie section of the paper. I saw all these movies. I saw something, I think it was 128 Hours with James Franco getting his arm stuck in the mountain. And I said, "Hey, Dad, why don't we go see 128 Hours?" And he said, "Oh, my dad said, I saw the real guy on TV." And I said, "Oh, cool. What'd you think?" He said, "Well, it sounded like a great story." I said, "Oh, great. You want to go see the movie?" He said, "No." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, I already know what happens." So I mean, I couldn't argue with that logic. So I went through all the movies. My dad shot down every movie that was playing until it came out to like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter 6, the Sorcerer's Stone Part 1 of 2. So it was like the sixth or seventh Harry Potter movie, and it was like the part one of a two-parter. And I said, "Dad, have you seen any of these Harry Potter movies?" He said, "No." I said, "Dad, neither have I. I don't know if we should go see this because we don't know what's going on." And it's a part one of two, so we're not even going to see the second part. But my dad wanted to go see it. We went to see it, and lo and behold, we didn't know what the hell was going on. Are you a Harry Potter fan, Carl?
Oh, I never saw the films, but I'm sure they're good.
I think it's one of those things that if people like they read the books and they're into them,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But for me, I just wasn't familiar. So what was I going to do? Going back to my list, um, I think this one, these movies coming up are like disappointments. Without a Paddle, did you ever hear that movie?
No.
It's a comedy, and it had like Seth Green, I guess, and some other people that were pretty big at the time. the guy that played Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movies, and he was in Scream. I don't know whatever happened to that guy, but this movie, Without a Paddle, was somebody on the YouTube comments. I went to see the trailer of Without a Paddle, and it said, "Oh, this was the Hangover before the Hangover," and I just thought it was horrible. It was about three guys who kind of go on a road trip, and they end up in the woods together, and they're buddies, and they have like a CGI of a mouth on a deer's face. It's just a horrible movie. Um, I think the next one I'm going to say is similar to that. It was another Ryan Reynolds thing. I think it was called Waiting. It was about waiters, and it just wasn't a very good movie. Although I think Ryan Reynolds was the breakout star of it. Did you ever see that movie Waiting, Carl?
Oh yes, I did.
What did you think of it?
I mean, it was good. It was decent, but
Well, I didn't like it myself, but that's okay. We're going to
yeah.
go to the next choice for me. A couple of films from 1998. I'm going to have a couple of Michael Myers choices tonight because Michael Myers had a great run of movies for a while, but he's also done some bad ones. And I think that's what happens with actors sometimes, even a Will Smith. You could mention the Wild Wild West movie. I'll just put that on my bad list now. Wild Wild West was a train wreck with Will Smith. Salma Hayek looked good, and Kevin Kline. Did you see Wild Wild West, Carl?
Yeah, I did.
What did you
It was
think of
great.
it?
It was good.
All right, hey man, we're okay to disagree sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
did you ever see Kevin Smith talk about he was going to direct like one of the Spider-Man movies, and he was dealing with the producer, and some of like the ideas actually got remanifested into Wild Wild West. Did you ever watch any of Kevin Smith's spoken word or stand-up comedy stuff, Carl?
Oh no.
No, it's pretty funny. Kevin Smith tells a great story about the Wild Wild West movie and how Kevin Smith, almost directed a Spider-Man movie, and some of his ideas got reman or some of the ideas that were floating around the table, I should say, came out to be in Wild Wild West. Um, my next choice goes back to 1998. It's a disappointment movie more so than a horrible god awful movie. Studio 54. This is where we're talking Michael Myers. Um, if you watch the trailer of this movie, you think it's going to be great and fantastic and exciting and kind of like Boogie Nights, but it was so tepid and uneventful, and it really just kind of missed the mark. I thought it played it too safe, and I didn't like it. Did you ever see Studio 54?
No. No, I haven't.
It's not good. I'm going to go with I can't remember that. I think it was Goldmember, but the third Austin Powers movie. I want to say this was the one with Beyonce and Michael Myers. I think he was just playing the Austin Powers trumpet for one too many songs. Did you ever see all those Austin Powers movies, Carl?
Yeah, I did.
Did 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 you did you like all of them? Did some of them fall off for you or what?
Yeah, I mean they were like decent films, but oh, they were gonna do a fourth Austin Powers, but I took
Yeah, I think for me, maybe after the third one, they said, "Hey, folks, this is done for a while." Like I think they could do a fourth one now. To be honest with you, I think like so much time has passed, and people need something to laugh about. I mean, people just laughed at that. People just got excited about Tyson and Roy Jones having a boxing match. So, I mean, I would just say that this Austin Powers movie, they could do a fourth one now because people have forgotten how bad the third one was. But he had that whole Heineken ad in the middle of the movie. Did you happen to have any opinion, just as an aside, Carl, before we wrap up the show, about that Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight the other night? Did you happen to watch that or have any opinion on it?
oh no, no.
All right, I just I particularly didn't like it. Here's another movie that I don't like and didn't like, and other people do. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with good old Johnny Depp. For some reason, people get excited about this movie or think it's so insightful or whatever. To me, it was just weird. It was draggy. The drug influence didn't do much for me. Johnny Depp as I guess Hunter S. Thompson, it was more annoying than anything else. A lot of people love this movie. I just didn't. I actually didn't enjoy being in the theater with my friend Aaron Wujik, of all people, watching this thing. What did you think, Karl?
Oh, I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's good.
No, it's not, man. That's why it's on my bad list.
All right.
um, but you're welcome to see it, but I just didn't like it. I'm trying to think of if there's any other movies that I want to put on this display of bad films. I mean, there's always movies that are kind of made to be bad, like I said, and I feel like those type of movies I'm not likely to watch. You know, like I said, like you know, some of the movies that my friends up in New England would like, I just didn't watch them because I don't like to watch bad movies. But some of these movies I mentioned today, Highlander 2, Godfather 3, these were all pretty traumatic experiences for me as far as feeling like I saw a bad movie. Um, but I mean, I think that's. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to complain about as far as films go. You know, a lot of the X-Men or Avengers movies, to be honest, Karl, I get confused with the different characters. I don't know what universe I'm in. And I typically I like the Wonder Woman movie, but I don't necessarily want to watch 20 other movies in order to get the full context of this thing. I'll say this, Iron Man 1 and 2, I don't think I like those two movies, to be honest with you. Like a lot of people, supposedly everyone loved those Iron Man movies. I didn't really get it. I didn't like those movies. Did you like Iron Man films with Robert Downey Jr., Karl?
Yeah, I did. There was a third one too.
Yeah, I might have
Yeah.
not seen the third one, but I mean, I for some reason, one of them, I think the second one, had this AC/DC soundtrack. I went to see the movie, and they only played one AC/DC song, "Shoot to Thrill," at the end of the movie, in the end credits. But I just didn't see the hype, and I didn't see why this thing was such a big deal, and I didn't see how Robert Downey Jr. was so amazing or so incredible. It just wasn't to my liking as much. And I think Robert Downey Jr. is an awesome actor. Trust me, I do. But you know, something like A Hazy Shade of Winter, the movie he did with Andrew McCarthy and Jamie Gertz, you know, the 20 years earlier than this. Anyway, Karl, what other any other films or bad things you want to mention, or what do you say, buddy?
No, no.
All right, Karl. Well, we've destroyed the Hollywood industry. We've just put ourselves on every blacklist in town. We'll never work in this town again. But hey, man, it's good catching up with you, buddy. Thanks for being a great subscriber and joining the show and making the show happen because you had this great idea. And we had to wait for a few weeks, but we eventually got to it. And of the stuff on the Mike Messier YouTube channel, on a different note, Karl, what have you? I know you make a lot of comments. I appreciate that. Is there anything in particular you would advise other subscribers to check out on the Mike Messier YouTube channel?
Yeah, I've seen his movies.
All right, cool, man. Any in particular that you like, buddy?
Oh, the one vampire you won an award for. That
Oh
was
yeah.
great.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Disregard the Vampire, a Mike Messier documentary, has won its 10th award, the Tabloid Witch Best Horror Documentary Award, from HollywoodInvestigator.com and Associates. And Thomas and everybody over there, I want to say thanks. So I have a video of me accepting the plaque, of which I'm very proud of. And that doc is up there on YouTube, so people can watch it for free in the comfort of their own home. They can hook up an HDMI wire and watch it on their big screen TV. They could rent a local movie theater and broadcast it and send me all the revenue if they want. But Karl, man, I want to thank you so much, buddy, for being part of the Mike Messier YouTube channel experience, and wish you and your
Too.
family a happy holidays, buddy.
Oh, you too.
All right, Karl, thanks so much, everybody. MikeMessier.com, signing off.